Do you want to shoot only black and white? No more color? Well, that's exactly what I did for an entire year in all of 2023, and here are some of my inspirations that have kept me going, which might also maybe tip you over the edge to commit to only black and white for a specific amount of time yourself. And yes, I will also make a big video where I summarize all of the changes and all of the learnings I've made throughout this year of only monochrome photography, but I'm still not finished with developing and scanning all of my rolls I've shot in this year, which means that I need a little bit more time to finish everything up. But if you like this video already and if you don't want to miss anything, you should consider to subscribe and maybe also follow me on Instagram to get notified about every new video. But for now, let's get inspired. Okay, let's see how many takes I'll need to get the name right, but my first big inspiration is actually a documentary movie that I watched in the cinema, but that I enjoyed so much that I bought it on DVD to be able to rewatch it whenever I want. And it's the documentary "The Past is Always New, the Future is Always Nostalgic" about Daido Moriyama. If you are not familiar with Daido Moriyama, he is a Japanese photographer, probably most known for establishing the so-called snapshot photography, shooting without looking through the viewfinder. He's also known for his very distinguished, graphic-looking, high-contrast black and white style. This movie inspired me on so many levels, and first and foremost, Moriyama's approach inspired me to pay more attention to the supposedly boring or mundane things on the street, like posters or advertisements, and incorporate them more into my own street photography. And part of the movie is also the race against time to complete the publication of another of his photo books. Publishing something like a book or a zine has always been a big dream of mine, and this movie has definitely just fired on this desire even more. But also seeing Daido Moriyama being very casual and not perfectionist about it, while his team clearly was, which was almost a slapstick, dramedy kind of subtext going on in the movie, which was very funny, it kind of helped me to feel more relaxed about the whole topic of publication as well. I'm not finished with screening all of my material from my own year of black and white photography, but I hope to be able to make a zine or maybe even a book out of it. All in all, I highly recommend watching this documentary if you want to commit to black and white or not, because it's very wonderful and very educational to see a master at work whose year-long dedication to his craft fundamentally changed how we perceive photography in the arts today. Next, I want to share a book with you that I've had for quite some time now, but that I ended up getting back to every now and then. And it is These Dark Mountains by Giulia Degasperi. It's a book where Giulia explores reconnecting to nature after moving to Berlin, returning to her hometown of Trento, a valley town surrounded by the Italian Alps. But rather than just a personal story of returning to a familiar place with new eyes, it's rather a global story in which she dismantles the mythopoetic, almost romanticized idea of living in the mountains. Rather than idealizing life in nature, she documents the pasture season with all its beauty, calmness, but also loneliness and danger. The print quality is absolutely beautiful, and I love the cover artwork design that also has a special meaning which you can find out in the book. The images are delicate with a coherent style and well thought out sequencing and arrangement. I find this book very inspirational because it illustrates very well how black and white photography can help to go beyond surface level and focus on everything else besides the supposedly visible. Next is a YouTube channel that constantly inspired me throughout this year, but even before, and it's the channel called AOWS, hosted by Adrian Villa, a Spanish photographer with a very distinctive and very beautiful black and white style. I first came across his channel many years ago because he was shooting a Bronica camera I wanted to get myself at the time. And even though he isn't shooting with the Bronica or even film at all anymore, he stuck to shoot exclusively in black and white in a square aspect ratio. His images are minimal yet complex, and I've never seen another photographer who has mastered the art of composing in a square format as perfectly as he does. I truly envy people who have found their distinctive and very unique style without appearing repetitive or boring, since this seems to be something I'm not even close to yet with my own photography. Each frame I've seen from him would look great as a print on the wall, and if I think about it now, I feel like watching his videos was actually what subconsciously inspired me to crop my images in a square aspect ratio for the first time in my last video. So if you are not familiar with Adrian's channel yet, you should definitely check it out for the ultimate black and white inspiration boost. Instead of one book, next in line is actually a birthplace of books, more precisely a publishing house and photography collective called Rust Publishing. And I have to admit that I might be a little bit biased on this one, since one of the co-founders is Heiner Beisert, a friend of mine, but I have purchased the books myself and I genuinely think that what they do is pretty cool. Rust has published a couple of books already, and with one exception, they purely focus on black and white work. The two books I got are the most recent ones. For one, The Hawk by Jakub Stachnowski, and for the other, Love Me for Less by Heiner Beisert. The Hawk feels more like an enclosed, completed project. It's a documentation about a very unique school in Slovakia, which is the only existing school to have falconry in their regular curriculum. Love Me for Less feels more like an open-ended, less concrete collection of perceptions and experiences, somewhere in the middle of the mundane and the surreal. What both have in common and what inspired me is a very pleasing tonality to the images. They are contrasty but chalky, with washed out blacks, which is an aesthetic that I learned to enjoy and incorporate into my own photography over time. Also, these are examples that show very well how powerful black and white photography is to completely abstract everyday situations or objects from reality and give us the chance to experience them more on a subconscious kind of dimension. Next is something a bit more general that helps with all sorts of tasks, but that was truly crucial for me to not neglect and kind of procrastinate the tasks that come after shooting, and that is a comfortable yet efficient but also inspirational workspace. For me, this is my office, since I spent a lot of time here scanning and editing images, working on videos, reading photo books and so on. So having my photo book collection nearby, as well as some black and white prints around, is a must for me. The latest upgrade to the office, however, is something I wish I already had a little bit earlier within this year. And it is a proper office chair as well as height adjustable desk by Flexispot, who are kind enough to support my channel by sending me these two products. The office chair I got for myself is the Flexispot BS8 Pro chair in the color grey. To be fair, the office chair I had before was probably already 10 years old, so pretty much every chair would have been an upgrade, but when I was choosing which chair to go for, I wanted something solid with proper back stabilization and enough adjustment options, while looking a bit more airy and friendly than the typical office chair. The BS8 Pro is particularly great because of its back support cushion, the possibility to recline, and these 3D adjustable armrests paired with this breathable mesh, which makes it perfect for long office sessions. Even after hours on end working at my desk, I can report of no back pain in this chair. And if I ever needed a change of position, it's possible with the next office edition, the Flexispot E7 height adjustable desk. You can use it as a regular desk to sit on, but also convert it into a standing desk. My partner has used a standing desk for many years now, which I sometimes sneakily used myself, so that I'm very happy to have one on my own now. I love that you can program several positions for the desk to remember, so that it's literally just one click to convert the desk from sitting to standing and the other way around. With both products, the build was very easy and both feel very premium in quality, so that I'm convinced that they will keep me comfy and also inspired while I work through the rest of my images from my 1-year black and white challenge. In case you want to see a full office tour where I can show you how I utilize the space for photography but also YouTube work, please let me know in the comments down below. Most movies nowadays are shot in color, which makes the decision to shoot a movie purely in black and white even more powerful. And one of these movies that absolutely blew me away the first time I saw it is The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers. The storyline is rather hallucinative and hypnotizing, covered in psychoanalytical metaphors, dealing with two lighthouse keepers on a deserted island who have a very intense, almost bipolar relationship. In terms of genre, I think it could be classified somewhere between horror and psychological thriller. And apart from the mesmerizing story, the movie has a very unique visual language, being shot on 35mm film in black and white in an almost square 1.19:1 aspect ratio. I feel like you could pause on any frame within this movie and the composition would always be spot on, with the aspect ratio emphasizing the tightness and confinement of the characters. Overall, this movie is a great watch to understand how powerful the omit of color can be and how much emotion and other kind of feelings can be transported through black and white purely by kind of choosing the contrast, the composition, the lighting, the texture and the placement of symbols or motifs within the frame. I have to warn you though, because the movie is not an easy watch and it can get quite graphically disturbing even in black and white, so maybe don't watch it alone. Maybe this is an obvious one, but another big motor that kind of motivated me to keep going in this challenge is to see other people actually do it. I followed a couple of people who committed to black and white photography for a specific amount of time and actually come out of this experience with some big learnings, which definitely inspired me to push through. One key inspiration for me was Samuel Lintaru-Hopf, whom you might know from his channel Samuel Streetlife, who did the exact same challenge of 1 year in monochrome in 2020. And Sissi, who's part of the Underdeveloped channel, did a month of black and white only, which gave me another motivational push. And after I made my decision and committed to it publicly, Taylor from the Graincheck YouTube channel posted a video of her first out of 12 months in black and white, which reassured me that this would be a challenging yet very valuable decision. And I guess that this is why I have the interest to share my experience with my black and white commitment, in order to show how grateful I am for the people who have done it before me, because it showed me that it can be done, and I hope to be able to pass this motivation on. These were some of the inspirations that have kept me motivated throughout this year and that kind of illustrated to me that black and white photography can be a great door opener to tackle photography from a less superficial but rather kind of existential, abstract and surreal perspective. And I hope that there was something in here for you as well, and I hope that this motivated you to give black and white photography a second, maybe more committed, dedicated look. And that being said, I will say thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.